Hi, this video is going to give you a brief overview of option 1 as part of session 2 for Transform IDLC cohort. In this option, you'll have the chance to present at an Embark cohort meeting. So you'll be presenting for our first year IDLC cohort members on the tool that you choose to share with other adult learners. It's important to note that this option requires both the approval of your coach as well as the approval of the primary instructor for the Embark cohort group. I'll show you a list in a minute or two of the primary cohort leaders for each group. If you don't get the approval for from both of those people, you'll have to choose option 2, 3, or 4. We're going to go through some of the things that are important for you to know about choosing option 1 and what option 1 will end up looking like for you. Let's get started. The reason we're asking you to develop a PD plan and then implement it for our Embark cohort meeting is for you to build your PLN, as I talked about in the last video, your professional learning network, as well as build your skills to become more of a leader in the district. We want you to have your name and face out in our district as a leader for teachers as well as their principals. You can also use this opportunity as a way to add information about you leading professional development for teachers to your resume, and it will also give you an opportunity to build your confidence. And especially for this option, if we don't feel like you're going to be successful at this, we're either going to really support you to get you to a point where you can do it, or we're going to ask you to choose another option. The people who do this option 1 have to really have a really innovative tool and something really exciting to share with our Embark people. We really want to get the Embark people to see the really exciting and innovative stuff that's going on in a lot of our Transform classrooms. As I said, you'll have to have the approval of both your coach as well as the primary instructor. And if you look at this table here, this column right here is the list of the primary instructors for each of the Embark cohorts. You can see that there are only 6 of them. There are far more than 6 Transform members that we have. So if you're interested in doing this, you have to move relatively quickly. So talk to your coach and talk to the primary instructor, as well as have a proposal ready to go. And I will put the proposal guidelines and the proposal workup that you will need to complete on the website for option 2. So you'll be able to see on the website where you linked from this, you'll be able to get that, and that proposal needs to be completed and submitted to both your coach and the primary instructor. It'll be in February. It looks like there are dates that kind of go around in February, but the locations are all over the county. So you're going to choose whichever one stands out to you as a cohort that you'd like to present at, and then contact those people. You can see from the image up here that we have a planning and implementation guide developed for option 1. This checklist is to give you an idea of the things that we want you to think about when you're planning and then implementing your professional development. This guide is linked both on the site where you got to the screencast from, as well as the short URL that's on this slide. And if you made a copy of this for yourself from the website, it's also linked in the notes at the bottom. Some of the things that we want you to keep in mind are that it should be approximately 15 to 20 minutes. And this is particularly important for the Embark session. There's a lot of work that's already set up for the Embark people to do, so it really needs to fit into that 15 to 20 minute time frame. As I talked about in the earlier video, it needs to have an emphasis on the 4 C's. So we want it to go back to the profile of an SC grad. We want you to focus on the framework for 21st century learning. And both of those things really do a good job of working in the 4 C's and talking about the 4 C's, as well as the tip chart. And we'll get to the tip chart a little bit later, but the tip chart really has a huge focus, as you all know, on the 4 C's as well. As I talked about in the first video, we want it to be device agnostic, and I linked in the guide what device agnostic means if you need to see it in words, but generally it means that it's not going to be something that only works on iPad or only works on Chromebook. And this is particularly important this year because of the way that the cohorts have been mixed up. So in a cohort, if you go to present at them, there will be a mix of both iPad and Chromebook teachers. There will be elementary and high school teachers, there'll be middle school teachers, and there'll be people that teach all sorts of different things. So it's important that whatever your tool is that you're going to share with people, it works on any device that they have. As well, the next one, it needs to be grade level and content non-specific. So it needs to be something that's going to work for pretty much everyone. And that's especially the case with this option 1, because you don't know who's going to be in this cohort meeting. So it's important that they can connect with the tool that you're going to share with them, whether they're a CD or a kindergarten teacher or they teach seniors. So it needs to be a tool that's going to work for everyone. The next item is our hashtag One New Thing, and this is the idea that comes out in our monthly One New Thing newsletter. So we want it to be either a new tool that people really haven't seen or used before, or a really innovative way of using an older tool. And with the option 1, we'd like it to be something that is relatively exciting because we want the Embark people to get excited and energized about using this tool. As I talked about in the last video, there really needs to be a strong instructional component, and the instructional component has to be pretty readily available. So you need to be able to tell people what that instructional component is and how they might be able to use it. And that leads us into the reflection piece. So we talked last video about a reflective piece where teachers can think about how they could use it in their classroom, and they need to be able to reflect on this and sort of know how they could use it in their classroom really soon without doing a lot of lead work for them. That's the point of what you're doing for them. So you're going to lead a session so that they can reflect and then hopefully use the tool, turn that around pretty quickly in their classroom. We want you to also run this by your coach. So your plan has to be completely fleshed out. You basically are going to do what you would do with the Embark group with your coach. Please remember that your coach is there as a resource and they're your support. So if you run into an issue before you're quite finished, ask your coach to come in. They'd be happy to troubleshoot or brainstorm with you and really get you to have a really, really great cohort meeting PD. In the last video, we talked a lot about the tip chart and the role of the tip chart, how it would be pretty integral in the exit ticket portion. So a couple of more specific points on this is that your teachers are going to be deciding where the tool falls on the tip chart. So they're going to use the lesson that you do as a way to introduce to the tip chart. So the people that you're working with have never seen the tip chart. They've never used it before. You're their first glimpse at the tip chart. So important things to know, they're not rating you on the tip chart, they're rating the tool. So you don't have to feel worried that they're giving you a rating on the tip chart. It's just the tool that you're presenting to them. So some of the things that they're going to be doing in class, or they should be doing in class based on the exit ticket that you do, is identify where the lesson falls or where the tool falls on the tip chart. So we want them to look at the presentation that you do, think about the learning that you're having them do, and then rate that tool. Where do they think the tool falls on the tip chart? We want them to brainstorm ways to move the lesson up and down on the tip chart. So how could they, if you're starting at a developing level, how can they move to the approaching level? What's a way that they could take that tool and sort of mix it around to make it a little bit higher on the tip chart? We want them to reflect on how they can use the tool in their own classroom. And then we want them to send you a positive comment or send a question to you, and plan to reply to their questions if you get them, or when you get them. I'm assuming that you will. Again, this whole list that I just talked about is linked on the site, so you'll be able to go through it, and I made it so that you can use the first column to check things off if that's helpful for you. The day that you present at the cohort meeting is going to be a very long day. So you're going to teach all day long, and then you're going to go to the cohort meeting and share your tool with the Embark group. Some important things to remember are making sure you're keeping your professional dress going on. We want these Embark people to think of you as an expert, as this thing for them to aspire to. So we want to make sure that you have that sort of professional aura about you. We also want to make sure that you're using professional language. And this one's really important. Make sure that you have practiced what you're going to say and you know the words that you're going to say. One of the ways that I use is if I'm doing a slides presentation, I use the presenter notes for the things that I'm going to say. I present the presentation for the people participating, but then I have a device in my hand and I can see the presenter notes. It has the things that I want to make sure that I don't forget so that I don't have to say, sort of stumble over my words and try and think about things while I'm standing in front of 30 or 50 people. We also want you to maintain a positive attitude. Definitely, we're all teachers, so we know some of the challenges in the classroom. We want the Embark people to feel like you are in a good place and you're really positive about this tool that you're choosing to share with them. So we want to make sure that you keep that positive attitude going. Which leads us to make sure you prep the tech in the room. Make sure you understand how the projector works, how the smartboard works. Make sure you understand what device is attached to the smartboard so that you're not running into a problem when you're trying to start your presentation. As I alluded to a little bit earlier, make sure you practice, and don't just practice alone, practice with someone else. You have your coach, please reach out to them, ask them to come in so that you can do a run through with them. Ask your team, ask your partner, ask anyone you want, but make sure that you are practicing and you've at least practiced it once before you do it for the Embark group. We're really excited that you're making the choice to present for the Embark group, where we know you're going to do a great job and you're going to make us very proud. Please make sure you reach out to your coach. As I said earlier, you need to get this approved by both your coach as well as the primary cohort instructor. If you have any questions, please ask your coach. They will be glad to help you.